Let's get into our predicted lineup. And Ange has been talking in terms of the injury news coming into this game, and it doesn't look good.
Yeah, so Richarlison is out for, well, he told the press conference 3 to 4 weeks. He told Tottenham Spurs official between 2 and 3 weeks. So you can make up your mind which one you believe. All we know is he's definitely injured. He's not going to be available this weekend, and probably until the international break, at the very least, he won't be available. So that's not great news, especially with the form he's been in. Pedro Porro, he said he's battling to be fit for this game, but he's probably going to come too soon, and he's probably a week away, so he's not going to be fit. He said Ryan Sessegnon had a major setback with the, obviously he's got, he said he won't be seen again this season, and obviously he had surgery on his right hamstring, so he's not available. He said Manor Solomon they hope to have him back at an earlier date, but he's had a few setbacks and he's still, quote, a long way away from joining the group. So he's not going to be available this game, which was rumoured a couple after the Wolves game that he would be available. So really sad to hear that he's still a long way away. But in more positive news, obviously Destiny was rumoured to be out of this game. He was out of the Wolves game, but he said he has trained all week and should be available for tomorrow. So that's a bit of positive news there.
Yeah, I think that Manor Solomon news is a massive blow to us, to be honest, because I feel like in terms of the wingers that we do have, he's the one that actually has the attributes that Ange really wants to see from a winger. And I for one, was really excited at the prospect of him coming back into the side, or as an option anyway. So I think that one's a massive blow for us. But let's get into predicted lineup and start off with the London goalkeeper of the year, Vicario.
Yeah, and look, I guess the most obvious things to point out is in this kind of game, set pieces. I think Palace, I believe, scored the opening goal against Burnley from a set piece, and I actually think they created a lot of chances from set pieces. So that's definitely something to watch out. In fact, we've conceded the 4th most XG from set pieces this year in the league. So Vicario is going to have to be on his game from that, and any kind of counter-attack he can stop will be very helpful. But hopefully he's not so busy in this one.
Yeah, let's hope so. That's Vicario. And go right back. We're going to side with Emerson Royale, seeing as Porro is out injured. Is there potentially a case for someone else to fill in there, or do we think Royale's going to straight back in?
I hope so, to be honest. If I was Ange, considering how Emerson played last game, I wouldn't play him, and I'd maybe get a bit creative. Maybe put Sarr there, put another midfielder in, maybe even put Sarr there and go with 2 number 10s. That would be also something interesting. However, I don't know if Ange is that cutthroat that after one bad game, considering he hadn't played for so long, he's just going to completely chuck him out. So considering he is our other senior right back, I do think he comes back in and continues to play. But if he has another stinker, Ange has to take responsibility for that.
Look, there is a case actually, like we heard the Dragusin's agent, didn't we, in midweek or last week, saying he didn't promise, but he said that Dragusin by the end of the season will play with enough minutes to be fine for the Euros and have enough match practice for the Euros. So maybe he knows something that we don't. Maybe there is a case of Romero going right back and Dragusin stepping in right centre back.
Yeah, that's what I would do. If Dragusin is going to come in, I would definitely keep him centre and put Romero on the right. Or maybe you can go with a back 3 and match up Palace, but match them up in a way which gives you the numerical advantage in certain areas. So maybe that's a way to move forward with it, which would be very interesting.
I do think Romero's got all the attributes to play that inverted right back role. Like, why not? Because he's more or less in that position in terms of the centre midfield all the time anyway. So I would love to see Romero maybe filling at right back this weekend, but we are going for Romero as the right centre back. Yeah,
no surprises there. He's going to be very important for him to deal with a very physical striker like Mateta. I don't think Mateta's going to be trying to run in behind, because I think he knows that Van de Ven will have that. So I do think he's going to be trying to get the ball to feet and trying to hold the ball up for his teammates. And it's going to be more on Romero, I feel like, to deal with those kind of situations. So Mateta can be quite a handful if you let him. So he's going to have quite a game cut out for him, Romero, I think.
What are we saying? Eberechi Eze to play on the left wing?
Probably, yeah.
So, I mean, if he is on the left wing, even more so why Romero should probably go right back, to be honest. Because I fear for Eze coming up against a Royale.
Yeah, I think it's more left number 10 kind of thing, how I see Glasner playing it. But yeah, I'm sure he'll be periods where he'll find himself on the left wing. So yeah, I think you're right there. Although I don't mind Emerson defensively. So I'm not worried about him up against Eze. I'm just more worried about him giving the ball away to Eze.
I thought he was poor with dealing with Neto for the most part, to be honest, though, last week.
Yeah, that's also true.
Left centre-back is obviously going to be Mickey van der Ven, probably the standout performer of the last month, and he's going to be so vital again.
Well, he got Arm Player of the Month, didn't he?
Yeah.
Van der Ven. Yeah, he's very, very important. We know that especially in the transitions, he's been so vital. And if it wasn't for him, the chances we conceding recently will be probably doubled if it wasn't for Van der Ven. That's how important he is. So we know he's very, very crucial. So has to play.
Left back to make up that back four, be a welcome return to Destiny Udogie, because I feel like maybe if one or Udogie players, just so much, but like when we had Davis and Emerson there, we just lose a whole element to our game. But at least if one of them's there, that deficit is halved.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully he's 100% fit going into this game. Obviously, we know we've got a big game against Villa next week and we need him for that one. So we don't want to take any risks. But it sounds like Ange wants him available, thinks he's available. That's going to be really important. And especially with the way Glasner likes to play with his back five, he's going to have his work out dealing with Ayew and potentially dealing with a wing back as well. So it's not going to be easy for Udogie, but hopefully we can maybe this break. I know he's been injured. Maybe this little bit of a break will get him re-energized.
Yeah, he has trained all week, so I don't think there's probably any excuses not to play him. Moving into the number 6, we are going to go for Yves Bissouma. There is a case for Rodrigo Bentancur. Neither are playing unbelievably well at the moment, but I just feel like Bissouma probably has the shirt at the moment, playing a tad better than Bentancur.
Yeah, I think so. And I think as well, Bissouma has more the characteristics that Ange wants in that position. So I do think he'll persist with him. I think as well, it's important that Ange has seen that Bissouma can do that role in the number 6. And apart from 20 minutes against Villa, we haven't seen it from a whole game out of Bentancur yet. Not to say he can't do it, but I'm just saying we haven't seen it yet. So I do think
was Bentancur in the 6 that game? Was he not in the 8?
Against Villa, he was in the 6.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, because we played Kulusevski next to the Celso.
Right, yeah.
So I do think he's going to persist with Bissouma for now. But if Bissouma doesn't drastically improve, I don't see a reason why that can't change, in the next game or so. But I think, I actually don't think he was terrible against Wolves, but it's still not what we want and what we need from that position. So I want to see a more confident Bissouma here.
That's the thing, though. Like, he needs to be getting back to those levels for the first 10 games. That's what we need our 6 to provide, and he's just not doing that. Yeah, he's doing well in terms of breaking up play, but in terms of going the other way and really helping us in terms of dictating the tempo of the game, pace setting of the game, and hurting the opposition, he's just not doing that.
And the problem with him is his passing is quite safe. It's not like he doesn't have the most adventurous passing range. So if he's not doing that risk taking when it comes to his dribbling, then all of a sudden he just becomes a bit too safe. And that we need someone who's a bit more of a risk taker.
Yeah.
And if he's not going to do that, then he needs to up his passing.
Yeah, absolutely. On the right-hand side of the midfield, we're going to go for Pape Matar Sarr, who's playing really well at the moment. Didn't have the greatest game against Wolves, to be fair, but apart from that, since he's come back from the AFCON, he's been brilliant.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with Sarr. Again, I said it before, I would be tempted to play Sarr right back potentially and maybe put a number 10 next to Madison, Madison and Bissouma. But we think I don't see Ange actually doing that. I'll be surprised if he does. I'll be impressed if he does. Maybe it shows an ability to be a bit more adaptable. But I do think Sarr will definitely start one way or another. I do expect it to be in centre mid, and he's got a big role to play, making sure that Adam Wharton, who's been quite influential in recent weeks, doesn't gain a foothold in this game.
And then to make up that midfield 3 will obviously be James Maddison on the left-hand side of that 3. I was quite disappointed with him in the Wolves game, because when you've got a team sitting as low as Wolves did, we need someone special to pick that lock, and he's got it in his locker. Not even just to pick the lock, but maybe just take a shot from 25 yards, 30 yards. We know he's got that in his locker as well, and he just didn't do that. Yeah,
that was probably his worst game since his return. I actually think he's been pretty good since his return, but that was a massive step backwards, unfortunately. Need him to get back to kind of how he was at the beginning of the season. We know how effective he can be. He's obviously a wonderful player. And in this kind of game, it's very important that he when he's in the box, he's looking to draw foul, look to draw penalties, looking to weave in between those challenges with little space, because he's one of the best midfielders at doing that. So that's a really important skill when you're trying to break down the low block.
Absolutely. So that's Bissouma, Pape-Matar and Maddison in middle three. Moving over to the right wing, we're going to side with Dejan Kulusevski. There is a chance Brennan Johnson could fill in there, but I feel like with what Palace provide, the way they set up, I just feel it's much more suited to Dejan Kulusevski.
I think so. And obviously he did score in the last game, albeit it wasn't his best performance. He did get a nice goal. And I think when we're trying to break down this low block of Palace, I think it's going to be more important to have someone like Kulusevski there, being creative, getting touches around the box, rather than Johnson, who, gives the ball away a lot. Unfortunately, right now, where space is going to be restricted as well. The only thing I would say is, where Johnson would have his benefit is if, Werner has the ball on the left, Johnson's going to be there at the back post, and that can be very invaluable when you're playing a team like Palace. So we need Kulusevski to be doing that kind of role if we get the opportunity.
Yeah, I guess it provides a good option as well coming off the bench late in games. We've seen how that can how many times has Johnson done that in the last few minutes of the game, just find himself at the back post and score a goal. But in the number 9, we are going for Heung-min Son. A lot of people have been calling for this for a while now, and now they get their wish.
Yep. I don't think it's the perfect game for it, but it's needs must. Richarlison is injured, so someone has to play there, and I think Son's obviously the next best thing. And to be fair, 9 goals in 12 games up front, and he also scored against Palace, didn't he, at the Selhurst Park? So showed he can do it in that kind of game, and it's going to be crucial. Hopefully, it really helps us play a bit more fluidly and pass and move a bit quicker. I think that could help, but let's just hope that he doesn't get crowded out like sometimes he can do when he's playing in the number 9 position.
And then to make up that final 11 on the left-hand side, with Solomon being out, I think Timo Werner comes back into the side.
Yep. Obviously, no other option to play there unless you want to get a bit creative. Or they've still got Brian Hill, I guess, but I don't think Andrew would want to put him there. We've only got Werner for a limited amount of games, so he's going to play on the left-hand side. And hopefully, look, we haven't seen him link up with Sonny yet. Maybe the fact that they're both, quick attackers who like to play the ball on the ground a bit more, maybe that will help him get the ball, bring him into the game a bit more than he has been recently. So, look, I'm excited to see how the dynamic will affect both of them, but I need to see more from Werner when he gets in those positions to, provide quality in the final third.
So let's run through that lineup with you guys one last time. So it's Vicario in goal, Emerson Royale right back, Destiny Udogie left back, Romero and Van de Ven in the centre-back positions, with Bissouma, Maddison and Sarr filling in as that number 3 in midfield, Kulusevski and Werner supporting Heung-min Son. In terms of our predictions, I am going for 3-2 to Spurs. Sim is going for 2-1 to Spurs. And that is your predicted lineup. Ange's press conference is on the channel now, so go and check that out. And if you are new around here and you don't know, we are on podcasting platforms as well. We are Tottenham TV on Spotify, as well as written content on WeAreTottenhamTV.com. So go and check that out. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.